I was messing around with electrics since I was 9 years old. So it was obviously something that was there in me. And yes, went for an apprenticeship. I started work at 15 and did my 5-year full apprenticeship. And went from there really. So lots and lots of experience. Obviously seen some sort of horrors along the way, and also a lot of misunderstandings. So a lot of electricians out there didn't really do the basics and didn't do the 5 years. And I'm finding that I felt I could contribute to improving that safety, which is what I'm doing now. The most rewarding part for me would be when I've carried out a work in progress audit. So I've actually spent some time with an electrician on site, and we get to the end of the day and he's thanked me for improving his skills and knowledge. Outside of work, I'm a very keen horse rider. We've got 3 horses. I used to do British eventing, don't do quite so much of that now. But yes, I don't think not many people would know that about me. The most unusual thing I've seen would be attending a student house which had faults on it, and finding that it had storage heating with an economy 7 meter, which is supposed to run from midnight until 7 on cheap rate electricity. They bypassed it so that they could have their storage heaters on for 24 hours a day. I went a little bit further around the property and found that they were growing cannabis. I was crawling in myself. I was actually on the tools at the time, and I was in a roof space, literally hands and knees going along. A cable had been joined together or extended, literally using wood screws screwed into a joist, and they were live. So the screws were live and probably about 3 inches away from my fingers. It's a really good thing because obviously from a sustainability point of view, we need to be moving towards electrification, which is what we're going to do. It's a little bit scary though, in the way that technology does seem to be rapidly increasing and improving. I'm not sure the legislation is keeping up with it. So that's just, yeah, a bit of a concern there. But in the main, it's very exciting. With these changes, the first one is obviously the frequency of the EICRs is now going to be mandatory at 5 years. I think that is a good thing. Clients or providers have got to make sure that they have enough qualified staff or enough qualified contractors, and they have a duty to ensure that those contractors are competent. And that's where we at CORGI Technical Services would come in with our third-party auditing. So we could either go in and just carry out audits on EICRs that have already been carried out. It's kind of like spot check, if you like. Or we can actually do work in progress audits where we are going out with their contractors or with their electricians, and we are checking things, making sure that they're not missing anything, that they're doing everything correctly, they're not overcoding something or saying it's worse than it is, or indeed, possibly even worse, undercoding and saying it's okay when it's not. So that, that's where we could provide great assistance, I think. Competence for me would look like on-site experience. Obviously, they do need the basic qualifications. They would probably be members of a certification scheme. There's plenty out there: NIC, EIC, NAPIT, ECA, etc. And they're working to a framework, so they would validate the actual academic qualifications, if you like. But for me, it's being out on site with them, doing the work in progress audits with them, and making sure they have a good understanding exactly what they're doing, whether they're following safe isolation procedures, correct test and inspection, etc. The level 2 electrical safety course it's a basic course, but it's great for people with a limited amount of electrical knowledge. You could be in more of an administrative role, so you are handling lots of these EICRs. They're coming in, through you. You're the person that has got to, if you like, file them, do something with them, making sure they're compliant, making sure that but you might not actually have the electrical skills or knowledge, and this would give you a good grounding in being able to do that. The main thing to keep your electrical bills down is turn everything off. I mean, obviously you can go along the routes of major investment in solar and that sort of thing, and that will be coming in. But even if it's just a basic thing at home, is turn your heating down a little bit, and where you can, just make sure everything is turned off. It's a basic right. It's a basic level of dignity, really, to be comfortable in having your safe, warm home. The amount of innovation and new technology that's now coming to the fore would make that a very difficult question just to single out, because obviously you've got solar PV, you've got your EV chargers, you've got your vehicle back to grid charging, battery storage, air source heat pumps, all sorts of technology out there. To single one out, I guess it would be solar PV, but there's a lot happening out there. Apart from being third party, so independent, but it's raising the bar, it's setting the standards. If we're carrying out auditing, we don't assume anything. We need to have something to back it up. We need to have something in the requirements for electrical installations to say, this is why we're stating this should be or should happen. It's getting the competences of the people out there and their skills up. The potential problems I see are the lack of compliance, or the lack of documentation and record keeping. I find is a bit of a problem. So one example would be a lot of our clients are having or taking on new properties that have had some of this new technology installed, and there's no crossover in coordinating the correct documentation, or indeed making sure they've got the correct documentation for this new technology, and aligning it with their stock EICR program. So that's a little bit of a concern. So they'll suddenly get down the line and realise, okay, well, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing that. Has anybody actually checked our solar PV? Is that all right? So yeah, that's a bit of a concern.